So welcome to this episode of The Rumble. We're just continuing where we left off earlier with Commodore Shekhar. We're talking about defense matters, particularly with reference to the Navy, because that's where we're going to talk about, and that's his area of expertise, maximum. So, Commodore, when we talk about our preparedness, India's preparedness to take on whoever wants to get nasty with us, what are the main areas that we say we are ready? Like you said, defense preparedness in which areas, we are secure in which areas. So how would you say that?
Madhav, we'll have to go, because since we're talking to the general public who really are not aware of these issues,
yes,
let's dumb it down to what do we mean by the word security? When do you say I am secure as an individual or the country is secure? What do we mean by security?
Yeah.
Now, I have been saying or advocating that security has got two dimensions. One is the mental dimension and one is the physical dimension.
Sure.
The mental dimension is that I am assured, I am confident that what I own or possess cannot be taken away by somebody else. Now, what I own or possess could be physical.
That's like
could
I
be
go to sleep, I sleep well at night.
Yeah,
everything is secure.
Right. And the physical dimension is how to ensure and create that feeling.
Okay.
Right. So, if we have that, that is secure. Right, I am a secure country. The role of the armed forces is to ensure that what the rest of the country produces in terms of GDP or GNP or whatever is safe and secure. And as you said, you can sleep peaceful at night. Yeah. So that's why the guys are sitting in Siachen or under in a submarine or up in the air or whatever, ensuring that India sleeps peacefully. Right?
Okay.
Now, how does this happen? In order to do this, and coming back to my area of expertise, namely the Navy, we need weapon platforms. It could be ships, submarines, aircraft carriers, naval aviation, whatever. Then we need people to man those weapon platforms, to maintain, repair, etc.
And it's kept in a state of readiness 24 hours. Is the Army and the Navy work like that, in a state of readiness 24 hours, or is it a semi-alert system?
No, we are on 24 hours. We are on duty for 24 hours.
Okay.
And coming back to my expertise, namely in submarines, you have the first degree of readiness, second degree of readiness, third degree of readiness, yes, etc. And that's applicable even to the surface Navy.
Yeah.
No, but the other aspect for security, it's not. Therefore, the armed forces are the military. This is the hardware aspect of it. He talks about weapon platforms. But that's not all about security. We need somebody to build those weapon platforms, design those weapon platforms, then build them, etc. Isn't it?
So, when times are tough or whatever, you are not going to get cut off from arms. You'll be able to replenish your troops all the time with weapons.
So, we need that indigenous capability.
Okay.
Right. But apart from it's not at all. Now, when you talk about that weapon platform, a ship, right?
Yeah.
A ship is like a floating city.
Yes.
It has got normal utilities, like it's got air conditioning, it's got compressors and refrigeration,
like drainage and toilets and the whole work. That's one aspect.
And the weapons.
Yes.
So you have various categories of weapons; they all have to be there, right? Now, if you build a weapon platform with these equipment which has to come on board. When we talk of indigenization, does this country have the capability of designing and building these things which we need to go on the weapon platform?
Okay, so every single thing on the vessel, other than just the vessel itself, everything you must be capable of doing.
Right. In theory, that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
So, how does this happen? Who decides, for example, do I need an aircraft carrier or a submarine or whatever? What is the element? Now, in theory, the person responsible, the boss man, is the Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Armed Forces.
Yeah.
Supreme Commander.
Correct.
The President of India. That's a
nominal post.
Ceremonial
post. But actual threat perceptions are designed by
we haven't come to threat perceptions yet.
Okay.
So then we have the man accountable, namely the Prime Minister, the elected representative of the people.
Okay.
He is responsible. Reporting to him, he's got 25 ministers or whatever numbers.
Yeah.
One of them is the Defense Minister. So the Defense Minister is really the guy whom we could say, this is the chap who's responsible for the security of our country.
Okay.
Right. Now, where things get slightly confusing is the strike arm, that is the Army and the Navy and the Air Force,
Yes.
also notionally report to the Defence Minister, and the other side is the Defence Ministry. The Defence Ministry are the guys who are there, who take the decision. They are the guys who pass the budget. Everything is done by them.
And even the decision to go to war is a civilian decision.
No, but that will be the Cabinet Committee on Security.
Yes.
The decision to
So
go
there's
to war.
yet another level above
That's
that.
a political level, right?
Yeah.
Political level.
Okay.
There, the bureaucracy of the armed forces don't come in. If the political leadership says we need to go to war, we need to go to war.
We go to war, yeah.
Right. Okay. So then, how do we decide we want to be a 150 ship navy or this, that, and the other? Therefore, we need to have a plan, and in strategic term, this is the strategy. What is our strategy? Now, this strategy should be the maritime strategy. In terms, should derive from the defense strategy. In terms, should derive from the national strategy.
Yes.
So, do we have a national strategy? I don't know.
Now, what do you think? I mean, you're the man who on the hot seat for a long time. Do we have a national?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Or even if it is, it's kept such a closely guarded secret.
Nobody knows anything about
it. Right. So, stemming from the national strategy is the maritime strategy. And maritime strategy obviously needs to deal with anything connected with maritime.
Yes.
So, it needs to connect with the merchant navy. It needs to connect with harbours, etc.
Harbours and ports, and there's another whole...
And one element of it, the security aspect of it, will come the naval strategy.
Okay.
Now, I can, through your channel, inform our friends, the public, that we have an extremely well-defined strategy. You can go to the website and download it. It's not a classified document.
Okay.
Because it says that don't mess with me.
This is the doctrine of our country.
Absolutely.
Our
Don't mess with me, guys. I have this, that, and the other to do it. So it's very much there.
Okay.
Now we come to the nuts and bolts. How does that happen? So if you take the Navy, we have a proper organization which deals with what is called the staff qualitative requirements.
Okay.
Qualitatively, what do we need in order to achieve this, that, and the other? So we have an objective. This objective can be matched or can be met if we have this.
The following, yeah.
Therefore, we decide that the threat perception is... Now, who talks the threat perception?
That's another bunch of people who analyze.
And that is we have what is called the integrated defense staff. Now, I'll come to that. After the debacle or perceived debacle at Kargil, the government of India appointed the Subramaniam Committee.
Okay.
The Subramaniam Committee went into how did we go wrong here? How did those shepherds come in and nobody knew and suddenly this blew up and so on and so forth? And this is immediately parallel to, Premier Vajpayee's visit and meeting, whatever.
Yeah.
How come somebody's gone wrong? So the Subramaniam Committee went deep into all this.
To find out what are the mistakes, what we should do in future.
And recommended, amongst many things, that we should have a Chief of Defence Staff. The Chief of Defence Staff should be the single point person wearing uniform who will report to the political leadership.
Yeah, the Prime Minister.
The political leadership. Okay. But the bureaucratic leadership, namely Defence Minister, the Defence Ministry, is interlinked there. Yeah. Those are matters of person.
Yeah.
But somehow we've never got up to getting the Chief of Defence Staff.
So there you go. See, the 99% of the problems of any company, forget about nations, is that there's no clear line of command and nobody who knows who is going to take what decision where. If that is very clear, I think the Indian armed forces will work as one team rather than the slightly fragmented thing that we see now with the army going its way, the navy going somewhat its way, and the air force, of course, sitting on the ground, not flying at all. Not flying at all. So when you come back, we'll find out how did that work. So, Commodore, if you leave out all the scary bits, which is about the long chain of command, this one reports and that one reports, the Prime Minister, this, that and the other, it's always too scary to think that, the whole thing is hinging on some civilian whose car driver didn't turn up and he doesn't know how to drive. As far as the Navy is concerned, how does that work? Just the Navy and its decision making. What do we keep? What are the weapons we need? How does that work?
Madhav, firstly, it's not a scary thing. I mean, it's not that somebody's driver didn't turn up. No, system is working. System can work better. That's okay.
Okay.
But probably what the man on the street, the guy whom we are supposed to make him feel secure, what he wants to know perhaps is that this is all fine, but if the Chinese come in tomorrow, the Chinese Navy comes in...
What do we have? What's our plan? Plan hai ki nahi?
You see, plan choro. Does the Indian Navy have stuff to
stop
combat?
it? Yeah.
That's what we...
True.
Now, I would then say, definitely we'd like to assure the nation that the Navy, the Indian Navy, 5th largest in the world today, and technologically very highly advanced, is quite capable of facing threat from any country. We will not talk of this country or that country as well. We will do our job. And how will we do it? Primarily the weapon platform.
Yes.
So do we have sufficient numbers of the sufficient quality? Are we building them ourselves? Etc. This is what
this is what everybody wants to know.
What we want to know.
Are we going to run out of bullets?
Yeah.
Run out of shells?
No, we won't. So firstly, we are today, and we won't talk of numbers. I don't want to be quoted tomorrow. We won't talk numbers.
Yeah.
We are, just for this program, we are 100-ship Navy.
Yeah.
Right? But in order to perform the tasks which are expected of a Navy, we probably need a 200-ship Navy.
Okay.
Right? Therefore, we need to build them. We can't afford to keep on buying them from outside.
Yes.
So, we need to build them. So, do we have the shipbuilding capability?
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
So, we've got that. Design capability? Yes, we have. All that is there. Where the problem is the ancillaries, the equipment which is
that goes on to
the weapons, etc. We still, some of them are there, some of them are imported, which is fine, but we need to build up that capability there. So, what are the platforms we have? Now, if you look at when you talk of the Navy, everybody talks of a ship.
Yes.
So, let's talk of India's most modern class of ships, which is the Kolkata class of destroyers. Designed in India, built in India, potent weapon platform, surface-to-air missiles, short-range...
I mean, we read all these words in the press. Are you believable? Every one of these things. Potent, hard to sink, impossible to get to.
Yes, they are really... state-of-the-art ships.
Okay.
So we have the Kolkata class, right? Now, just about a couple of weeks ago, I think a week ago, we launched another very, very modern class of ships. And
even more powerful.
And it's called Visakhapatnam, named after the port.
Okay.
Right. Earlier, we launched the anti-submarine weapon, the ASW frigate.
Okay. All right.
Right. ASW ship. The Commodore, again state-of-the-art. So, we have designed and built ships
specifically for what we perceive as our threats.
Right. Now, if I was part of the PLA Navy, I would really be scared of these two that you mentioned. And that whole...
But just 2 vessels can make such a difference?
Not 2. This is just the name. This is Kolkata class.
Oh, it's a Kolkata class. So how many are there?
We'll have 3 of them. They're all, I mean, I don't want to go
Okay, so we have enough of them.
We are building them. My worry is that we're not building them
fast enough.
Time, but that's a separate issue we need to address.
Okay.
Now, that's part of the surface thing.
Okay.
Now we look at the underwater Navy. An underwater Navy, we acquired our submarines from Russia, we acquired our submarines from Germany,
yes.
We're building from
France. Yeah.
Now, the government, and it's all in public domain, I am not privy to any classified information that I can be...
This is like Google Chacha has given us.
Absolutely, everything. Dr. Google tells us all this. So, the government has already allotted, I am told, some 50,000 crores for building the indigenous submarine design, which is called Project 75I. Okay. Now, that's a lot of money. And we already have the capability to design and build those
operate all of them.
The submarines in India. Right?
Okay.
There is an element which we will talk of probably after the break, but we need to look at that. Now we look at the surface element. The surface element we've seen, the underwater element we've seen, the aircraft. Now the aircraft carrier. I think we are one of 10 countries in the world which operates aircraft carriers. In fact, there are only 3 Asian countries which operate aircraft carriers, and we've been operating aircraft carriers for more
Who are the 3? Japan, China, and us, is it?
China, of course. Right.
China, of course. Right. We.
Yeah.
And who's the 3rd Asian country?
We'll come to that.
All right.
Right. Now, let's talk about the Indian Navy. Right. There, we acquired the Vikrant which is
it's an old British aircraft, British
aircraft
vessel,
carrier, right? Then we acquired the Virat.
Yes.
Now Vikrant has already been decommissioned.
Yes.
Virat is in commission.
Yes.
And now we've acquired the Vikramaditya,
Yeah.
which is the Gorshko.
Yes.
And also earlier, before Gorshko, it was called the Baku class.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now this was a mothballed aircraft carrier.
Which we pulled out.
It was actually designed not as an aircraft carrier, but as a helicopter carrier of sorts, and then modified, and it was mothballed before it saw service, and we bought it, fitted it out, modernized it. It's now available, flying the Indian flag, and it's perhaps one of the most potent aircraft, the warships that the Indian Navy possesses, and in this region, it is something to be worried about.
Okay.
It's got a fairly good suite of aircraft, right? And the Tejas will probably operate from there.
Fly off the way.
Right.
So, listening to him, he says, we don't have to worry. Until now, we have got a good submarine fleet, we have a good set of surface craft, and we are looking at an aircraft carrier. There's still more elements that we have, so we'll find out when we come back. So we talked about three vital weapons that we're talking about so far that you have mentioned. What are the other two which you think should allow us to sleep in peace?
I did mention the submarine, but I will now draw your attention to the nuclear capability which the Indian Navy possesses because that's a nuclear submarine is something which really will put the fear of God into any enemy.
Okay.
We leased a nuclear submarine, Akula class submarine from Russia. Our crews were trained there. We got the submarine. In fact, it is still with us.
So we learned the ropes on that.
We also used it, and we sent our people out for training and for learning. Right? So the Arihant, which is the nuclear submarine, nuclear propelled submarine, will also have nuclear missiles, both short range and intermediate nuclear tipped missiles will be there. So that is a tremendous capability and will add the third leg to the nuclear triad. The triad being the ability to fire from the surface, from land, sea and air, and firing from a ship can still be detected, but firing from underwater, it makes the nuclear triad that much more effective. So that's as far as our Arihant program is there. And I'm given to understand that a couple of more of them are on the cards.
Oh.
So we can be proud of our
design capabilities.
There's been a tremendous amount of coordination between the design organization, the shipbuilders, the private sector shipbuilding has come into that. And the reactor design, reactor building, miniaturizing a reactor, putting it on board, it's not something very easy. And we've mastered that, and we're doing very well there. The fourth part of it are the missiles. I think what is going to make a dramatic difference to our capability, our security, our defense capability, naval capability, is the BrahMos.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, the BrahMos is a collaboration between Russia and India. In fact, the name itself is from Brahmaputra and Moskva.
Yeah, the two rivers.
Two rivers.
Yeah.
It's a design collaboration. We have invested considerably in that. And in return, we will be
So is there a clear demarcation between what did we do and what did they do?
Well, all that is there. Absolutely. It's
I mean, like somebody might take on the flying part of it, somebody take the explosive part.
All that's been done.
It's all done.
All that's been done. We have already tested.
And we have versions which can be fired from air, from land, from sea.
We have already tested the surface version. We have tested the underwater version as far as the Navy is concerned.
Is that the Sagarika that you were talking about? No, that's something else.
No, that's something else.
Okay.
So BrahMos is BrahMos.
The BrahMos, yes.
So we've got that cape. So BrahMos, the beauty of BrahMos is it can be fired from, as I said, from the air, the land, and from the sea, and from underwater.
Okay.
So the potential enemy will have to get worried as to where all.
So when you're talking about the aircraft carrier is one thing. I mean, it's like a floating airfield.
Yeah.
You take it wherever you want, and you launch off the deck. What about the aircraft on that? Wouldn't that finally define its power?
Obviously, the purpose of the aircraft carrier is to carry the aircraft.
Right. So that aircraft which flies off the deck.
In the future, the Tejas will be flying off from the aircraft carrier.
Intended for that aircraft carrier.
The LCA, the Light Combat Aircraft Carrier.
Okay.
Light Combat Aircraft.
Yeah.
But more important, now that you raise that issue, whereas our two earlier aircraft carriers were brought from the West, and the third, well, one of them is already decommissioned.
Yeah.
The Vikramaditya was acquired from Russia. We are building our own aircraft carrier. And which we have a tradition in the Navy that when ships get decommissioned, their names are used for the new generation warships.
So they continue the...
So the Vikrant, which is going to be
the new Vikrant
indigenous aircraft carrier being built at Cochin Shipyard. Yes, there have been some delays, but these delays are not to be... We shouldn't make much of these delays.
Yeah.
I mean, the very fact that we are able to build an aircraft carrier...
How far have we come along in it? I mean, how far are we from commissioning?
It's already been floated out. And
commissioning will take a long time.
It's already delayed by a couple
year
of
or
years.
two.
Yeah. It should be ready anytime. Right. Having said all this, there's another area which is not really part of the Navy, but I think it will support the Navy in our capability.
The Agni, Shagni and all the rest of those.
Right. Along with that will be what is called the FGFA.
Okay.
The
fifth generation
fighter aircraft. Now, this again is being designed in collaboration with Russia, and it's a absolutely state-of-the-art, as they say, the fifth generation aircraft. The very fact that India can even think in terms of
designing such a thing,
building the ship, I think that's a compliment. See, Madhav, the problem is our media. They only bring out all our warts and pimples. They don't bring
Thank God they do that, otherwise they'll be only praising you guys forever.
We don't want praise. We don't want praise.
Okay.
But
they have to do that. They ought to also...
The public must not think that we have an armed forces or a navy...
Which is only acquiring from elsewhere.
Which is not... And too much of the scams and things which have been brought out to say,
And weapons acquisition from overseas, that we are not developing anything on our own, which is completely wrong.
Correct. It's absolutely wrong. There are plenty of initiatives which are going on for building up our own capability, and specifically for the Navy. Now, we have had such a great integration between the user, which is the Navy, the designers, and the shipbuilders.
Yes.
So I think it's something to be very, very proud of. I might as well mention, while I'm about it, 3 laboratories. Definitely the Naval Science and Technology Laboratory at Cochin, the Naval Physical, the NSTL, which is at Vizag, the NPOL, the Naval Physical and Oceanographic Laboratory at Cochin, and the Naval Meteorological Research Laboratory.
These are only in the so-called advanced Western nation. Now we have all of them.
We've had them for the last 25 years.
So
and the Navy has integrated them. So I think we need to be proud of what our naval capabilities are.
I think so. I think this will be an eye-opener to let people know exactly where we are, because we're not very sure, yes, we have this weapon and that weapon, but the fact that all of them are integrated and is being developed by us, that should give us the maximum satisfaction. So thanks a lot, Commodore, once again.
Madhav, thank you. I think through your rumble, at least we can reassure the taxpayer that we are.
We're only frittering away the tax. We're making something good.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Thank you.